Welcome to Blackout, a fast-paced, highly tactical, tabletop wargame set in the brutal near future. This video will quickly show you how to play this fast and lethal game, and afterwards we will show you a live example of the how-to and just how fast it is, so stick around. Blackout uses incredibly detailed and realistic miniatures called models. Models will be grouped together into a unit, and the smallest game size of Blackout will be 3 units per player. All of the information you need to know about your models is presented on their unit card, a hard plastic scratch-proof card that's included with each product. A game of Blackout requires a table or board that is a minimum of 2 by 2 feet, but a game can go much larger than that. We suggest decorating the board with themed, thematic, and great-looking terrain like our Space Elevator terrain set offered on the website. To begin with, each player should roll a 10-sided dice. The player that rolls higher will go ahead and choose a table edge or edge of the board and place all of their models within 4 inches of it. Models may not be placed further than 8 inches away from another model in their unit. After the first player has placed all of their models, the other player will do so. After both players have placed their models, the player who placed their models first will begin their turn. When it is a player's turn, they will choose one unit to activate. When a unit activates, the first step is to reposition all of the models in the unit. This allows them to move up to their movement value in inches. The movement value is found on their unit card. After all models in the unit have moved, they may make one action each. These are done individually. The actions a model has are either shoot an enemy model, or to sprint, allowing it to move again. When a model is able to shoot, it must pick a target that it can see and is within range of its weapon. The player that controls the model will then roll 3 10-sided dice if the target is in the open, and 1 if the target is in cover. Each dice that rolls equal to or higher than the shooting model's skill is a hit. For each hit, the target will suffer the weapon's damage. In this example, the rifle does a damage of 1. Total up all of the damage done by the weapon, and then make an armor check on the target. This is very important. The target will roll a number of dice equal to the first number and will block a point of damage for each one that rolls equal to or higher than the second number. If there is any remaining damage after the armor check, the target must mark that damage on their unit card. Most models can only mark 1 point of damage before being removed from the game and destroyed. After all of the models in a unit have finished their action, their activation ends. When a player's activation ends, the other player then goes and takes their activation. Players will alternate activating their units back and forth until all units have been activated. Then, the round will end and a new round will begin, with players once again rolling a 10-sided dice each to determine who will go first. Let's cover my favorite rule, lean out. When a model is able to move, it may spend half of its movement to lean out. Simply place a 1-inch in diameter circular token touching the base of the model. This now represents the model itself and can be used to see enemy models and be seen by enemy models. If an enemy model can only see the marker and not the model itself, the model has cover from them, representing them leaning around some kind of object, or even kind of pieing the corner. Let's jump into a live example so you can put it all together. Welcome to the Blackout Basics live walkthrough. Let's assume this is the beginning of a new round and that we have 2 units here. 1 of 2 models up top and 1 of 2 models on the bottom down here. First thing you do at the beginning of a round is you roll for initiative, so each player is going to roll 10-sided dice. 3, 10. Alright, let's assume I'm in control of these units up here because they just won the initiative. Great. So, I'm going to go ahead and choose a unit to activate, which will be this unit up here. The first thing you do is reposition. This allows every model in the unit to move. This guy's going to sit tight because he's in good cover. This guy down here, with a movement value of 6 on the card, is going to go ahead and move 2 inches, and then spend half of his movement to lean out. You will always essentially lean out at the end of your movement, because if you move, you would just remove the lean out marker, so there's no point moving again when you try to lean around a corner, right? So move 2, spend the rest of it to lean out. Now, despite the model not being able to see this model over here, because we're leaning out, we'll use the lean out marker, so we are able to see him. Imagine this guy slowly pieing the corner, maybe weapon up, getting a beat on this guy. If an enemy model can only see the marker and not the model itself, that model has cover from them. Pretty cool, right? After we've repositioned, moved everybody in the unit, each model may make 1 action. You have 2 actions. You can either shoot an enemy or move again. We don't need to move again at all, so let's get blasting. This guy down here can see him. Now, let's shoot him. When you shoot at an enemy, if they're in the open, you're going to roll 3 dice. And this guy's in the open because there's nothing obscuring more than 50% of the model. If I were to shoot this guy down here, we would only roll 1 dice because he is in cover from us. That's important, right? You have to decide with your opponent if it's 50% or more, or a reasonable defense, right? So this is a barricade. I would say he has cover because he's trying to be behind it. So, 1 dice versus 3. I know who I'm going to shoot. Go ahead and shoot the guy in the open here. Roll all 3 dice. Then we're going to compare each dice to our skill. We have a skill of 5, so any dice that rolls a 5 or higher is a hit. We got a 9 and a 6, those are both hits, and we have a damage of 1 on our weapon, so we've done 2 damage total. 2 hits at 1 damage is 2 damage. The enemy has an armor of 1/5, that means he's going to roll 1 dice, and on a 5 or higher he blocks a point of damage. Unfortunately he failed, so he suffers 2 damage. At this point you would mark 2 damage on the unit card, but most normal grunts do not have anywhere to mark damage. That's because they can only take 1. So we've applied 2. This model is now destroyed. Okay, that's our action with him. This guy's action is going to be shoot this model and cover down here. We're going to roll 1 dice, and we rolled a 10. This is great. This is called an ace. Anytime you roll a 10, you're going to do double whatever you were trying to do. So in this case, apply damage, you'll apply 2 damage. Armor 1/5, so he could only ever block 1. He suffers 1 and is destroyed. Headshot, or critical hit, whatever you'd like to see. After I finished an action with both models, which is all models in the unit's activation now ends and the other player will be able to activate a unit. After both players have activated all of their units, the round ends and a new round begins where you would roll for initiative and start again. Thanks for watching this video. Check out the rules at www.blkoutgame.com, blackoutgame.com. They're for free. And join our Discord where you can ask any questions and dive into it. Check out the next video covering some intense reactions which allow you to get into gunfights. For example, if this model was down here, he would actually have been able to shoot back at this guy up here, potentially killing him instead of being killed himself. Alright, cool. Check it out. Thanks for watching.